What is up, everybody? Welcome to Beyond the Court Podcast, Episode 1. I'm Quentin Robert, joined with my co-host, Aries Denton. You can follow us on Instagram at these Instagram handles. Today, we have a special, great guest. He is a Boise State super fan, goes to all the football games, basketball games, you name it. Please help me welcome Mr. Nathaniel Wilder. Yay, Nathaniel!
Hello
How you
there.
doing today?
Doing great. I mean, probably would be a little better if we were to pulled off the win against UNLV in the women's basketball tournament quarterfinals. But credit UNLV, they had a hell of a fourth quarter. We went and going at 5, but at 30 or 15 quarters sunk us, and we're sitting and they're advancing in the conference tournament.
Semifinals, yep. I wanted to ask you on that. First off, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get started being a Boise State super fan?
Well, I basically grew up. I moved to Boise in 2002. That's where Dad was getting out the mining industry. We were living in Canada a couple years before that. Richie born in Minnesota. One of our neighbors in the Surprise Valley used to be in the legal department for Albertsons, and he would have season tickets, and we would always get a couple from him for the football games. Grew up going to those games to get them out. Then fast forward, I was Buster Bronco, the final tiers of the Coach Pete era. Then after that, I decided to be a yell leader for the corral, the official student section, and decided that it was about time to let others take care of that and to become more of a super fan, just being at the games and trying to raise the spirits of the Bronco Nation at games. Originally in the South End Zone for football. And then just recently, a few years ago, Jeremiah Dickey and Derek Morales started, along with Joel Yoke, started the Blue Collar Club. And part of that was also forming Section TW Health, which essentially is us in Section 12, but being a rowdy group at the home men's games.
Yeah. My first question I wanted to ask you, I know we had a women's game today, Boise State taking on the UNLV Lady Rebels. Fortunately, we lost by 10, ended our season on a strong note. At least we made it to the quarterfinals of the Mount West tournament here in Las Vegas. Could you share thoughts on team's overall performance against UNLV today?
Well, I mean, throughout the first 3 quarters, we were really good offensively. We were hitting threes. We were working the ball around a bit and getting inside. And defensively, we were getting some stops and getting rebounds. But the energy momentum shifted in fourth quarter. We were starting to break a lot more. You know, on defense, we were starting to give up more and more second chance opportunities for the Rebels. And a lot of those times they made us pay. And also coughing up the ball on some inbounds plays and in the front court as well. And UNLV took advantage of those, turned those into points a good amount of the time. But overall, I think we did pretty dang good, you know, putting a scare through the third quarter against the number 1 team in the conference going into the conference tournament.
Yeah. What lessons do you believe the team could take from this game and improve in the future matchups?
Well, I mean, one of them is trying to find ways to avoid long lulls of going on some cold streaks. Part of this year, we had a fair amount of games where we went cold for like 4 or 5 minutes in games in multiple quarters, and opposing teams would take advantage and go on some runs. Remember back to the New Mexico home game, and we did win that one. Part of the reason why we went down, or in the halftime down double digits, was that New Mexico in the final 4-ish minutes of both the first and second quarter were on like 8-0, 9-0, 10-0 runs against us. So just got to find ways to avoid going on lengthy cold spells, in which case the opponents are able to execute and go on big runs.
Yeah. Could you highlight any individual performances from the team that stood out despite the loss?
Well, I mean, Tim Thompson had over 20 points, and she is one of our best players this year. Same with Natalie Pascal. She did pretty dang good. Danny Bays hit some nice threes, and Alvin Hughes, I think, if I remember correctly, finished in double figures or close to it. If I remember correctly, saw someone had double-double, but I forget which player was for the Broncos. Yep, but one of the key things though about this game is that unfortunately we were without Mike Hansen, who is one of our consistent shooters from twos and especially from the three-point range. She got injured on that Wednesday game at UNLV in the regular season. So we were playing down one of our star performers because she, Natalie Pascal, and St. Thompson were forming a Hydra 300 monster because up to that injury, all three are averaging like 15 points a game, each of them.
Yeah. Yeah. How did UNLV's defense impact your offensive strategies, and what adjustments were attempted?
Well, it looked like that. Yeah, they definitely did more on-ball, double team, bit of a matchup zone on defense, and we struggled a little bit with that in the fourth quarter, which caused some more ill-advised shots or some passes that were knocked away. So it definitely did affect us in terms of our ability to operate at our full capacity in the fourth quarter. I mean, we did at times try to attack the middle, try to get in inside, and when that worked, especially sometimes we got in close, we were able to get some good looks from two. And sometimes we also kicked it out for a three-ball attempt. I mean, had good looks there as well, but some of them just, like, number one, them went in, but then popped right back out.
Yeah. Yeah. My other question I had was well, you probably already answered this, but what were there particular aspects of the game plan that you felt were not excused as intel?
I mean, we just sometimes gave up some multiple offensive rebounds and some drives or some possessions for UNLV, give them extra looks. I think one of them they got like 2 or 3 offensive rebounds in one possession. Again, against a good team like UNLV, or I should say a great team like UNLV, you really had to limit their offense rebounding opportunities, had to be crashing the boards on defense, and sometimes we just didn't have the right personnel or any personnel in the immediate vicinity for that. Yeah, but I think that was one of the only areas. I mean, again, they have such great players too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So turning over to the boys' side, because we know we have another team also in the Mountain West tournament playing, I believe Thursday, correct?
Yes, Thursday, if I remember correctly, it's 2:30 against the fourth seeded San Diego State.
Yep, 2:30 against San Diego State. If Boise State comes on top there against San Diego State, how do you think this will affect their seeding? I know everybody's like, oh, they're the last 4 in, last 4 out. What do you see Boise State at if they advance to the semifinals?
I don't think that would really do a whole lot at this point. I mean, had we had executed well in the final second half, like the final 11:30 against Colorado State, prevented a 32-13 run to end the game, maybe we wouldn't have to be worrying about that right now. But overall, I still think we'd probably have to make to the title game to have a great opportunity to put ourselves back onto the right side of the bubble as maybe the last 4 in playing in Dayton again. Yeah, but I think a win tomorrow will just be more for keeping us alive in that discussion, but I don't think we'll move up enough. We just got to win that game, then potentially beat New Mexico in the semis to have a solid case for being at large if we were to make it to and lose the championship game.
Yeah. Oh, my co-host has a question.
Yep.
Go ahead, Eric.
This wasn't on the thing, but my question is, do you think, just in your personal opinion, do you think the Boise State will be able to pull back enough or pull up enough points to have a chance to win? To have a chance.
Could not hear the question.
Do you, in your opinion, do you think Boise State will be able to rally together enough to win the championship or the title?
You can't hear me?
Nate?
Nope.
Oh, he was saying that if Boise, how can Boise State rally to win the conference tournament if they want it?
Well, I mean, just gotta be against San Diego State. They're a hell of a great team. I mean, one of the big question marks right now is if Magun Guat is going to be healthy enough to play this game. There's some rumblings, maybe not, some that he will be. I mean, again, he's a phenomenal freshman. I believe he won the Mountain West Conference Freshman of the Year this year. I mean, 7-footer, the best block or shot blocker this year in the Mountain West Conference. Gonna have to compete against that if he's healthy. If not, that could help Boise State a little bit, but we just got to focus on executing on offense, scoring at a high clip, especially one of our Achilles heels this year has at times been shooting a 3-ball. I mean, we only make about 7 threes this year at about 30% on average. So if we can get maybe like 10 threes, that'd be huge. Again, we got to execute the side as well. Try to draw some fouls by some of San Diego State's main guys. Like, I think Bird is one of them. He's still on the team, right? I think.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. I mean, he's a hell of a great shooter. I mean, I remember against us at home, he lit us up for like 26 points or something like that.
Yeah.
And we're trying our best to continue defensively, but that man could not miss in that game. So, also, I think it's BJ Davis, right, who is one of their top 3-point shooters as well. So we got to find a way to keep him contained, effective shots too on defense. And on defense, hold them to or limit their scoring opportunities, force some more elevated shots, and own the boards. Because I think both losses, San Diego State had some advantage on the rebounding and can allow many offensive opportunities for rebounds for San Diego State. And when we're on offense, we got to find ways to get extra possessions and have guys attacking like RJ Keene has been a good amount of the year, attacking for all boards, get some quick put-ups as well or putbacks, and gonna have to find a way against a very talented San Diego State team that is always one of the top defenses in the nation under Brian Dutcher. Top 25 this year, according to KenPom. 30 in a row for that, along with like Houston and Kansas, two other really great programs. So we're going up against that. Yeah. Just got to find ways to make the shots.
Do you think this will be a quad one victory if Boise State can pull out the victory against San Diego State?
I have not looked at the updated net rankings, but are they close to top 50 right now?
I believe they're at 52. Boise State's at 52 right now.
Yeah, I'm not particularly sure. If we beat them, San Diego State would magically move up like 2 or 3 spots for it to be a quad one win. Because I think on neutral side, it is top 1 through 50 is considered quad one.
Yeah.
And this would be a neutral side game.
Yeah. I know facing San Diego State or any other team is always a challenge. What are some key areas Boise State needs to focus on to have success against the Aztecs in the matchup?
Well, as I said, we got to execute, especially from the 3-ball, but also at the same time can't be overly reliant on a 3-ball as well. Like, again, part of the reason I believe our loss was half our shots against San Diego State at home, and that double-digit loss was from 3. I mean, I think we shot the ball from 3 like 26 times. So we're going to have to find ways to score from all 3 levels, the free throw line. Again, had to hit our threes, but also execute from inside as well, where sometimes we can struggle a bit with layups and dunks at times. So definitely got to do that. Got to have great pressure on San Diego State, force them to make turnovers. And when we do, we got to find ways to execute. Sometimes we get turnovers, but we either turn the ball over or have that empty possession against a great team like San Diego State. When we get the ball off a turnover there, we have to cash it in for points. So, yeah, also we need like our 3 or 4 guys to probably be in double figures, like Deggy. I believe he could get to like 15 points, but again, for some reason,
Yeah.
In his case against San Diego State, he's held to like 10 points or less a good amount of the time. So we need him to be at an elite shooting level. Definitely has to shoot the ball more than 6 times. I mean,
Yeah.
against Florida State, he only shot the ball 6 times total. So we definitely need him to be a shooter, trust himself, to shoot his shots and execute. And the middle, we need him to have a great game. Alvaro Cardenas, we need him to be able to score from inside and from 3. Probably get double-digit assists would be helpful as well. Omar Sterling, he might either be starting from the bench. If he can get double figures and scoring him maybe like 8 boards, that would be huge, especially some of them are offensive. Had to keep our good team on the court because I remember seeing like before the Colorado State game by like BJ Raines or Jay Test. It's read about him being one of the top guys on the floor in the NCAA when he's on defense. Yeah, because he has great ball pressure skills. He can definitely cause turnovers, but again said, he's also really active on offense. Even though he might not score a lot, he's still attacking for offense rebounds, and he's getting assists left and right as well. So he's going to have a great game as well.
Yeah. My other comment was follow the Mountain West Conference on Instagram at the Mountain West Conference. They posted you on their story of you. I know we can't pull it up right now due to copyright issues, but we saw you on the court dancing. How was that? How was the feeling of that?
Well, it was a lot of fun. Just go out there, entertain the people.
Yeah. Did you get to walk away with anything?
Yeah. I'll pull it up quickly. Be right back.
Alrighty.
Yeah. It's a certificate for the Palms Resort Casino.
Oh,
My mom's
wow.
got it right now. Here we go. Yep. It's for complimentary cabana at Palms Pool, $250 food and beverage credit, and $50 in free slot pay.
Wow, nice. Okay,
Yes.
nice.
Yes.
That's so cool.
Yep.
But yeah, if you guys want to follow the Mountain West Conference to see that little clip of Nate dancing on the floor, I saw you had to go up against it looked like a Wyoming fan that you went up against.
Yeah, they played NHL for him.
Yeah. They did that for Wyoming and UNLV and all that. So there were some good teams in the tournament. I'm shocked that New Mexico is good this year with Rick Pitino or Richard Pitino. I can't remember which one it is. But against New Mexico or anybody in the conference, it was just hard for Boise State to get done with stuff because Boise State was challenged by New Mexico, San Diego State, Utah State. It's like last year where people were having signs that they hate Max Rice. Like, were you in Logan for that game when that was going on last year?
I think a couple years ago, I went with some of the 6 to 12 people down to Logan, and they have some of the most creative signs. I mean, they had like a Leah Rice sign, and one of the members of the herd was kissing it.
Yeah.
About him like trying to kiss up to the refs. So, I mean, the herd is undisputedly one of the best student sections in the conference.
Yeah,
they are.
They are. Do you, if a conference, if Boise State could win on Thursday against San Diego State, do you think New Mexico could beat the winner of tomorrow's first round matchup? If New Mexico does win and moves on to the semifinals and Boise State also wins, do you think Boise State could beat New Mexico?
I do believe so. I mean, we beat New Mexico by double digits at home, and at the Pit, they also beat us by double digits at home. So that's going to be a hell of a matchup. Winner take all kind of scenario. And I do believe Boise State could get that win.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tournaments can be a grind, especially with how competitive the Mountain West is this year. How does Boise State maintain the momentum and focus throughout the entire tournament?
Well, I mean, just treat it with the 1-0 mindset. You just go in, you're focused on that specific opponent, not really looking past them. Just be like, okay, like single state, this we need to focus on. This is things that have been successful this year against them. These are things that happen. We need to figure out how we could do better at the things that we weren't so successful against them and try to maintain things that have been successful against them this year. Play the best 40 minutes we can, bring our A game for all 40 minutes and now like 32, 33 minutes of a game. Have to play a full 40. Then after that, celebrate that win. Then flush it down the toilet and be okay. Now we got next.
Yep. What I was going to ask you this one too. What is the are there any Boise State players who have really stepped up recently? I know Arba Cardenas and Tyson and Diggy and all that. But how going into the casual game against a tough San Diego State team, how can they really step up to of them key players in the game against San Diego State?
Well, it just comes down to execution on offense, hitting shots, defense, forcing turnovers or getting boards, not allowing too many or many second chance, third chance opportunities to the Aztecs. I mean, would help as well. Like Buchanan has been pretty good off the bench this year. He's had some games where he scored like 20 points. Including conference play, we're going to need a similar performance by Buchanan.
Yeah.
And Emmanuel Ugbo defensively has been pretty good as well, though he's mainly at times started for a few minutes and would trade it off with Omar.
Yeah. I know Omar Stanley is our sixth man off the bench, basically. Tournaments can be a grind, especially with how competitive the Mount West, or wait, I already asked that question. The Mount West tournament is in Las Vegas, which brings a unique atmosphere. How does playing in a neutral site like this affect the team's precision and mindset?
Well, I mean, it's all about how well their fans travel. I mean, Wyoming fans always travel pretty dang well. Yeah. But San Diego State fans, New Mexico fans, Utah State, and the Herd, they always travel extremely well. And so even though it's a neutral site, when you play against them, for the players, it might feel a bit like playing at the Pit or playing at VA House or playing at the Spectrum with how well their sections of their fans travel.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like my fourth year in a row at this. And as Bronco fan, I love it, but we need to get our act together a bit more too, like, not like get more fans here, but more passionate fans that are loud, rowdy, energetic, and chaotic. Because they can really help make a difference.
Yeah. Do you have a message out there for Bronco Nation if they want to come down to Las Vegas? Are they going to experience a loud environment inside the Thomas & Mack Center?
Yes, especially when we play San Diego State and we beat them. They're going up against another great elite fan base in the New Mexico Lobos.
Yeah.
Because from last year in the quarterfinals, they were extremely loud, and I believe they got to our players a bit and shut them down a little bit too.
Yeah.
So we do Bronco Nation when they come early, be loud, and be chaotic, bring the chaos, bring great energy for all 40 minutes of the game.
Yeah. Score prediction. We need a score prediction from you. What's your score prediction for Thursday's game against San Diego State?
Against the Aztecs, both teams show they can be pretty good defensively, so I'm going to go a little more lower scoring, maybe like a 68 to 63, 64. Hoping for the Broncos.
Yep, hopefully the Broncos. My last question that I have for you, when San Diego State played Boise State for the Mount West Championship, I was there for the Wyoming game, for the Wyoming semifinal game, and I saw you guys over in the corner. So I was like, oh, wait, I'll be right back. I told my mom I'll be right back, so I walked over there. I think I saw you too, right? Were you there in the corner where we were yelling, I think, Abo?
Well, yeah, when we had Chibuzo last year?
Yeah.
Probably, yes.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a fun game to go to. Wyoming and Boise State. That was an exciting game. And then the Broncos went on to win the Mountain West Championship that year. That was the best year that Leon Rice had ever had in his life. What do you? I know you can't read people's minds, but what do you think is running through Leon's mind right now? Is playing San Diego State rematch of the championship game back in 2022.
Just probably about like trying to determine the best game plan for Tim Derrier for offensive coordinator, Mike Burns for defensive coordinator, trying to get the best game plan together. Trying to coach those guys up, being like, hey, like a lot of people might be counting us out. Historically, that's when Boise State has performed their best, when we're the underdog, have that underdog, blue collar, blue chip mentality, historically for basketball, but also football as well. And trying to get his guys to put the best 40 minutes possible, bring the A game or A-plus game, and some that, hey, like that home game against San Diego State, it got out of hand towards the end of the game, but we were right up there with them. We beat Utah State. We beat in Wyoming. We beat New Mexico. So we know that we can compete with a talented San Diego State team. We know we can. It's just execution and finishing.
Yeah. Well, Aries, do you have any questions for Nathan? No? Well, thank you for joining us on this podcast, a little short notice thing. We just wanted to get a guest on for our episode 1. Is there any other how should I say this? Any other things that you want to say about Boise State basketball and all that? I know I wanted to ask you this too. I know we're a basketball podcast, but I wanted to ask a couple football questions. What do you think Ashton Genty's going to do in the National Football League?
Well, we shall see. I mean, like at the college level, he was among the best ever in terms of his career. And again, the NFL for a running back has a different meaning, not for long. So hopefully Genty will be able to have a stellar career, avoid the energy bug. Sometimes that can derail a career at times. So hopefully he stays healthy and he's able to keep putting up similar numbers that he did at Boise State. He is a hell of a great running back and wish him the best.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you this too. Do you think he got robbed with the Heisman?
Well, I mean, I'll always give a guy his flowers, like Travis Hunter. He is a hell of a great player. I mean, don't really see it that often these days. I mean, I bet it still happens, but not that often that someone plays both sides. So that could be on coaching decisions as well. Like you could have a real talented guy, but sometimes some coaches might be like, I want you to focus more on this side versus the other, like wide receiver instead of cornerback, or the other way around. But it was cool that Prime allowed Travis Hunter to do that, to be like, hey, you know what? You believe you can be one of the best in the nation at doing both? Go for it. So I gave kudos to Coach Prime for that and to put his player in the best position. Mm-hmm. I mean, as a Bronco fan, I absolutely would have loved it if JT won the Heisman, but, I'll give all the props to Travis Hunter. He had a great season and won the Heisman, so that's what it is.
Yep. Hopefully he can win the Super Bowl as well. My final, I was gonna ask this too. What team do you think Ashton Genty will go to?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, not totally sure which NFL teams right now have the biggest hole for like running back player protection, but I've heard maybe like Denver might be interested. Maybe it could be cool if he unites with Kellen Moore and New Orleans. Yeah. But I hear, there's some talk of him potentially going to Las Vegas Raiders as another side. Nice. Yeah, but so it'd be cool if either one of those three.
Yeah, I've been hearing too that he might go to Dallas. Dallas is looking into him. That was not my expertise. I don't want him to go to Jerry's World, but it's whatever the NFL wants to put him at. I know I was looking at Instagram earlier and they were putting him with Dallas, and I'm like, whoa, Dallas, really? That's crazy. I know he's from Frisco and all that. He's from the Star, and he went to that high school, and he's been everywhere his whole life. So I think he will be a high I think he'll be a higher first rounder, maybe a late first rounder. But I'm thinking he's going to go to like Denver, like you were saying, Denver, or go back to Kellamore with New Orleans or something, or come here. At least we need Las Vegas needs a running back. So, but yeah, so. Well, we hope you have a great time here in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. We hope that you have a wonderful time at the Mountain West tournament, watching our Boise State Broncos hopefully pull this victory out on Thursday. You guys can watch the game on CBS Sports Network, listen to it with Bob Beeler, Abe Jackson on the call on, I believe, 670 KVOY. You can also just come to the game. You can buy tickets online at unlvtickets.com. They are only selling all session and so all session tickets for men games and women's games, and that's basically how you can go now. But yeah, thank you so much, Nate, for joining us on this podcast. We hope you have a great rest of your day, and go Broncos.
Thanks for having me. It was a great honor to be on this podcast. Go Broncos.
Yep. You have a great day.